Hi, welcome to what I hope is the first in a series of videos from Storychick that are stories about storytelling, a whole super meta story thing. Today's story is my favorite story about storytelling because it is a perfect example of what stories can bring to an audience as well as what they can do for the tellers. It's called The Golden Lamb, and it's set in the time of the Caliph Harun al-Rashid in Iraq. There were three friends, and they had great grand plans and schemes about the adventures they were going to have as they traveled the land and made their fortunes together. Problem was, they needed to raise some money so that they could actually take the trip. They came upon a widow who needed someone to tend her sheep. Now the widow said, "I can't give you money as payment, but if you stay through the winter, when the lambs come, you can have your pick of the lambs, and that will be your payment." So the friends agreed, and they spent the winter tending the sheep. On the long winter nights in front of the campfire, they would tell each other stories about the adventures they were going to have and spin these long yarns. So spring came, and the lambs came, and one of them had a fleece of gold. The widow said, "I'm not going to go back on my promise. You guys get the pick of the lambs. One of you is obviously going to take the golden lamb, but you have to decide which one, because only one of you can have it." The friends talked amongst themselves, but they really couldn't decide who was more deserving of the golden lamb and therefore the bulk of the profits from this venture. So they decided that they would go to Baghdad and seek an audience with Caliph Harun al-Rashid, who was supposed to be a wise and judicious man. So they made their journey. They get to Baghdad and seek their audience with the Caliph. As they're waiting to speak to him, their knees were trembling inside their robes. They were so nervous. They come forward, and each of them stated their case. The first friend stepped forward. "Your Greatness, I deserve the golden lamb because I am the oldest, and shouldn't we respect our elders?" The second friend came forward. But I am the most clever, and I will put the money to the best use." The third friend stepped forward and said, "I have a widowed mother and younger siblings, and the money from this will go to support them. Isn't that a noble cause?" The Caliph sat back and said, "It's a pretty tough decision, especially because each of you is so eloquent in the way you've stated your case. You seem to be blessed with words, and therefore that is how I'm going to make my decision. Each of you must tell a story to me and my court, and the person who tells the best story gets the lamb." So the first friend steps forward and starts to tell his story, and it's a tale of epic adventure, a hero's quest. He spins a spell with his words and pulls the audience along through all of these exploits. They're awestruck, they're dumbstruck, they don't know what's going on. They're just amazed at what this hero can do, and in the end, everybody is just regaled and so thrilled by the hero completing his quest. And the Caliph says, "Excellent," and calls forward the second friend. The second friend steps forward and tells his tale. It's quite different from that of the first, and he weaves a very different kind of magic. His words are as smooth as silk as he tells a tale of love lost and found, and the audience is pulled right along with. Their hearts are aching with loneliness as the lovers are separated, and soaring like eagles as they come back together. And when the star-crossed lovers are finally reunited forever, there wasn't a dry eye in the house, and the ladies were sighing softly. The caliph sat back and said, "Superb! But there's one more story." The third friend came forward and said, "My story is not the least of these," and told yet another very different tale, this one a mystery. And he took the audience through these thrills and adventures, and they were so tied up in all of the twists and turns of plot and counterplot, shrouded in darkness, that they forgot to breathe. And when the amazing final revelation came, they burst into applause. The crowd was cheering. Everyone was thrilled, except Caleb. He sat back, quiet, and tugged at his beard. And that is the end of this part of the story. Who told the best story? Who gets the golden lamb? What is the decision of this great and wise and wonderful Caleb?